With the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance, I would like Supervisor Chukri to make the introductions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This morning, we've got the pleasure of having the mayor of Carefree with us to do the invocation, and that's Mayor Les Peterson. And so, Mayor, please come on to the podium, and it's great to have you here, and thank you for taking the time to be with us this morning.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate the opportunity. This is not something that I normally do. Mr. Chairman, County Supervisors, and Mr. Manos. Today, April 6th, is a momentous day in the history of this country. On this date in 1789, the United States Congress began its first official meeting, and the citizens of this young nation moved forward with the spirit and commitment which we see today. Over the next 200 years, this combination of representative government and involved citizens working together to identify challenges and develop workable solutions created the nation which we all love so dearly. And so, expressing the same spirit and commitment as our forefathers, we are determined to continue this approach in our meeting today. Let us pray. O Lord, we ask for you to be with us and guide us during our meeting today. The challenges before us are great, but none so great that we can't overcome them. So we ask for your help to give us the insight to prioritize the most important challenges before us, the wisdom to determine how best to move forward on the courses of action which will deliver the greatest benefits to the citizens of Maricopa County, and the commitment and resources to follow through and implement our chosen courses of action in a thorough and professional manner. Thank you. If you would like, I would be glad to start the Pledge of Allegiance.
I think Amy is going to help us with that, but thank you, Mayor.
Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you again, Mayor, and thank you, Amy, for hosting us this morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. All right. And thanks again, Mayor and Amy, for doing that for us today. Okay, item number 3, the roll call. Ms. Fran McCarroll, will you please call roll?
Good morning, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. I understand that Supervisor Konasik and Supervisor Gallardo are not going to be attending the meeting this morning. Supervisor Barney.
Here.
Supervisor Chukri.
Present.
And Chairman Hickman.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. One of our favorites, of course. Moving on to the pet showcase. Melissa Gable is here from Animal Care and Control.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Harry. He is a 10-year-old Chihuahua mix. He came to the shelter as a stray, and no one claimed him. So we're hoping someone will come for him today. If you're looking for a mellow guy that just wants to sit in your lap and be loved, then Harry is the one for you. His adoption fee is just $20. That includes his neuter, his rabies vaccination, and his county dog license. And he is available at our West Valley Animal Care Center at 2500 South 27th Avenue in Phoenix.
Good.
And then also, if I may, this past weekend we did our Tag Your Wag event at our Phoenix location, and that was the first time we offered free rabies vaccinations, and there's some photos of the folks that came out. Free rabies vaccinations, we asked that those that got the free rabies vaccination for their dog also purchase a license. And we had folks, and then what we did was we waived any back penalties that they may have had. So we had folks that came out who hadn't licensed their pets since 2006. We had a lot of folks that came out that hadn't licensed since 2012. We waived all of those back penalties so that they could start fresh with a clean slate and move forward. So over 100 folks came out for vaccinations for their dogs. So it was really successful, and we're planning on doing another one at our Mesa location in May.
Very good. Did you have a comment, Mr. Barney?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Thank you to Melissa and all the great work of Animal Care and Control.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Thanks for being here. And that dog looked incredibly nervous that you brought out here. All right, moving on. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go back a little bit. Clerk, are there any announcements or corrections to the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, we do have 2 changes in your planning and zoning section, if I could wait till we get there to just kind of clarify them.
Okay.
And then we will have one item, one of the patent easements, item number 10. There will be a continuance until the April 20th meeting. And when we get there, if I could ask for a vote to just continue that item.
Okay. Very good. Okay, then, until we get to that point, item number 5, National Service Proclamation Award. I'd like to call up Mary Ellen Shepard with our Human Resources Department. Good morning, Mary Ellen.
Good morning. Chairman Hickman, members of the board. Today we are asking you to adopt a proclamation in recognition of national service and the difference it makes in our communities, our nation, and our world, both today and in the future as these dedicated men and women enter our workforce. Joining us for this event is the Corporation for National and Community Service State Director Kimberly Will and Program Officers Neil Minish and Jackie Wasik. Also here with us today from the Governor's Office of Youth, Faith, and Family is AmeriCorps Director Bob Sjogren. Please welcome them. Now, I'd like to invite Director Will to say a few words in order to give this important event and the recognition you're about to bestow the appropriate context. Director Will.
Good morning. Chairman Hickman, board members, and Mr. Manos. Thank you for having us today. On behalf of the Corporation for National and Community Service and the Governor's Office for Youth and Faith and Family, thank you for allowing us to be part of today's board meeting. CNCS is a federal agency that oversees AmeriCorps, Senior Corps, and other programs that engage millions of citizens in service. AmeriCorps members and Senior Corps volunteers address our most challenging problems in our communities. Our members serve in assignments connected to food security, homeless services, environmental restoration, habitat protection, keeping seniors living independently in their homes, recruiting and managing community volunteers, and helping local officials tackle tough problems in their communities. Last year in Maricopa County, 25 national service programs engaged 1,341 members in service throughout 268 service locations throughout Maricopa County. In our nonprofit and public sector partners, and I will name a few: Arizona Superior Court, Maricopa County, the Area Agency on Aging, Region 1, Arizona State University, Hands On Greater Phoenix, just to name a few. CNCS has invested over $7.9 million in Maricopa County, and we have leveraged $2.6 million in local support. This year, over 57 elected officials, including mayors, county officials, and tribal leaders, have signed proclamations of support recognizing the contributions of our national service members and our programs. This week, we honor our members in various events throughout the week, hosting them in Tucson, Yuma, Prescott, Phoenix, Avondale, Flagstaff, and now in Maricopa County. In addition to the proclamations, letters of support, and events that we have hosted throughout the week in recognition of our national service members, we also are highlighting our Employers of National Service. Employers of National Service was launched by the White House in September of 2014 in recognition of our members' service experiences, accomplishments, and their incredible work ethic. I am pleased to report that in Arizona, we are leading the nation, and this is also leading Washington, D.C., in the number of employers that we have engaged in this hiring initiative. Because of your support today, we are very thankful for that support, and we are looking forward to the opportunity to continue partnering with you in this initiative and future programming. So again, thank you for your time today. Thank you for joining us as an employer of national service and also for recognizing our national service members in Maricopa County.
Thank you. Thank you for being with us today.
And now, if I may ask Fran to read the proclamation.
So I get to ask Fran to read the proclamation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Whereas service to others is a hallmark of the American character and central to how we meet our challenges, and whereas the Corporation for National and Community Service was established to connect Americans of all ages and backgrounds with opportunities to give back to their communities, and whereas national service represents a unique public-private partnership that invests in community solutions to increase the return on taxpayer dollars, and whereas national service participants of all ages address the most pressing challenges facing communities locally and throughout the world, and whereas national service participants serve in more than 60,000 locations across the country and have served in 139 countries worldwide, and whereas the Corporation for National and Community Service is joining with the National Association of Counties and county executives across the country to recognize these volunteers who provide health, education, and support services, and whereas employers of national service connect this dedicated, highly qualified, and mission-oriented pool of potential employees with employment opportunities to capitalize on the unique skills the participants develop during national service, now, therefore, be it resolved that the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors does hereby recognize national service participants and endeavors to be an employer of national service to recognize the positive impact of these individuals in our county and to thank those who serve.
Great. Thank you very much, Fran, for reading the proclamation. Looking for a motion to accept the proclamation today.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we accept the proclamation as presented by the clerk.
Thank you, Denny.
I would second that motion.
You have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. At this point, then, I think that's great. I would like you to say a little bit more, I guess, at this point.
Well, Chairman, with your permission.
Yes.
If you wouldn't mind, the board come down, if we could take a picture with the Corporation for National and Community Service and our state members here of the proclamation, we would appreciate that.
Okay. Take that right now. Thank you.
Mr. Manos, if you would go ahead and go up. You're fine.
Pin to give you from.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the pen.
You're welcome. Thank you, Denny.
All right, and I kind of want to go a little bit maybe off script with Mary Ellen, because I think this kind of week is special to us. So if you could say a couple other comments.
Thank you, Chairman Hickman and members of the board. for approving this proclamation recognizing individuals for their service to our community and our world, and for positioning Maricopa County to become an employer of national service. By your vote today, you will help promote Maricopa County as an employer of choice for those whose passion and purpose is a natural fit for a career in public service. We know firsthand how important the connection between national service and public service is because of one man, Tom Manis. We are grateful for the opportunity, therefore, to also use this day to recognize Tom, a Peace Corps alum and a public servant whose commitment to serve, and more importantly, whose actions in service to others has created a model for others to emulate. Tom has served in very challenging times and has never shied away from working on the most complex issues, from his days in Liberia, West Africa, helping rural farmers and small business owners, to helping the county and the state address significant budget shortfalls, to feeding, housing, and being present to the homeless among us. Tom has shared his knowledge and tremendous skills, but most of all, he has demonstrated time and time again a willingness to roll up his sleeves to solve problems in partnership with those who can make a difference and those who are most in need. As a way to thank Tom and honor him for what he has meant to so many, on behalf of the board, it is an honor to introduce the Tom Manis Outstanding Service Award. From this day forward, this award will serve as a means to recognize county employees who show an outstanding commitment to service the way that, Tom, you have done throughout your career. Each year in April, this award will be bestowed upon one county employee who exemplifies outstanding customer service through action. We have chosen April because it's during this month that the value of national service is recognized. It seems fitting that these two events, national service and outstanding public service, stay aligned. Why this is true is best understood through Tom's own words. If you ask me what two things changed my life, one of them would be my Jesuit experience at Brophy, and the next would certainly be serving in the Peace Corps. What I learned was that serving the community is what makes me happy. I was the happiest when I served in the Peace Corps. I was the happiest when I had the least. When I had 2 pairs of Levi's and 2 t-shirts to my name and lived in a dump. At one point, I had a boom box in Liberia. I was always worried that it would be stolen. Finally, it got stolen. And it was such a relief that I didn't have to worry about it anymore. So my passion for community service really started in the Peace Corps. Tom, all those whose life you have touched are grateful for that Peace Corps experience that ignited the passion in you. We are grateful for being a place where your passion was able to find its purpose. We are committed to ensuring your story lives on. And now we have a brief film to show. now, Chairman, with your permission, I would invite you to say a few words, and then we would love to call Tom's family up to join him and you in a picture.
Well, I'd actually, we all work pretty tight together, all of my colleagues, and unfortunately, Andy and Steve Gallardo are in their districts right now, so I'm sure that they wish they could be here right now, and we get maybe another shot at this a little bit later in the month, but for them to say something. But I'm kind of interested if my colleagues would like to say something about our wonderful opportunity to get to work with Tom over these last almost 4 years.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and if you know anything about Tom Manos, you know that he doesn't like surprises. And we surprised you today, Tom, but it was a worthwhile one. And as we endeavor as supervisors and do what we think is the right thing, leading Maricopa County forward, it's always nice to know that you've got someone by your side that doesn't have the disposition of falling to the Republican side or the Democrat side, but just has the disposition to look forward and to say, let's do the right thing. Let's do the better thing. And Tom's that person. When I was campaigning for this job, everyone would say, have you met Tom yet? Have you met Tom yet? And I said, maybe I should get elected before I meet the guy because I don't want to get let down. And I didn't. You don't get let down when you're with Tom. So Tom graduated from Brophy long before I did. And what Brophy teaches you, and I think he probably had a better GPA, so I should balance it out with that. We both did detention in the parking lot very well. But what Brophy teaches you in those 4 long years is to be a man for others. And that is their motto. It's been their motto since 1928, to be men for others. And Tom, you're a man for others. I'm Lebanese, so I get a little emotional. But
thank you, Steve.
You're a good man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Denny.
Well, thank you for this surprise. I was not surprised about the recognition and honor, but the opportunity to just offer a couple of words. And it's not fair that I would follow Steve and frankly have the very same feelings about Tom. He's a man of quiet service, service above self, bringing dignity to the downtrodden and hope to everybody that he's around. And I would just say that there's much that I've learned and much that I'm grateful for as I've had the privilege of serving in public office. But at the very top of that list has been the privilege of serving with Tom Manos. What you may not know, many of you, that Tom, after a very long career, has chosen to resign and with great reluctance, to retire, excuse me, with great reluctance. We're having a hard time letting him go, as you can tell. And May 2nd is going to come too soon. But when it does, he'll leave a great legacy of service and many great friends. And I'm honored to consider him my friend. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Oh. What stinks is I have to follow 2 eloquent colleagues, as always, and I think what they have said, they have said it best. I will tell, I'm filled with stories, and I think it's no secret. I come from a family business, and I've never made it a secret that over about the last 15 years, our company CFO, his name is Jim Manos, which is Tom's brother. And I'll just tell a quick story. When I was appointed, I said, from one family business, now I get to work with another brother. And I thought it's just one of my favorite stories to tell about the county. About 3 weeks into it or so, I came in with a picture to Tom and said, hey, This picture is on your brother's desk, and you saw it today. It was a picture of Tom with village children in Liberia. You got to see that picture. And I said, your brother has this prominently on his desk, and I never really thought about it. And I thought, to be honored by a family member is above all else, I think, something to cherish. It is so hard to rise in your eyes of your family. I can tell you, my picture is not on any of my brother's desks. And that's a fact, because I see those offices every day. So I think that's a tremendous honor that when you consider I think, younger brother?
Yes, sir.
Younger brother has a picture of his older brother and says, yeah, we are so proud of Tom and have been for these many, many years. And that says something to me. And as it speaks to him helping children and the less fortunate at a young age, I think that's fantastic. And I also will tell you, when I finished showing him that picture, he said, hey, you know what, keep that picture under wraps. And that shows the humbleness and humility about Tom also. So Tom, that picture you saw, because I heard your voice, where did you get that? Where did they get that picture? That picture did not come from me. I promised you, so that was not me. So again, I want to thank you for being such a fantastic, setting the bar incredibly high for county managers. And I so much appreciate, along with this board, getting the chance to serve with you for the county. So thank you very much for your service. And I was wondering you're a man of few words. Do you want to say something?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would appreciate the opportunity. It's ironic that for 4 years I've sat here thinking, please don't call on me. But I will take advantage of this opportunity. And Steve, I think maybe one thing that we share with your Lebanese background and my Greek background is that we wear our emotions on our sleeve. I remember when my wife and I got married 35 years ago, everybody on my side of the family was crying. And I heard somebody say, what's the matter with the Manuses? and somebody said, don't worry, they're Greek. So I will try to hold my emotions. For 34 years, my wife has always asked me, what do you do at work? And usually I respond, I don't want to talk about it. And so, Gene, I just want you to know, usually it's not like this every day. I think about a couple of months ago when we initiated the budget process, I talked about that we've had a unique and special relationship over the last 4 years. And I've thought about it, obviously, a lot over the last couple weeks. And I think it's because we were all relatively new to each other. And so I think of my experience when I was a Peace Corps volunteer, and in the first week, I had the very best of friends. When I went to basic training, in the first week, I had the very best of friends. When those do missions, I've heard the same thing, that the friends they make in those first couple days are everlasting. And that's what happened to us. I was offered this job. I was here for a very short period of time. And then 4 out of the 5 that hired me had left, and I got 4 new bosses. And I will remember, I think the first one I met was Steve Chukri, and for those of you who don't know, Steve knows everything about restaurants in Phoenix. And Steve invited me to lunch, and at the end of the lunch, he told me that he forgot his wallet. But to Steve's credit, he actually walked out to the parking garage and got his wallet before he would let me pay. But I think it is because we were all new. We all had the same vision that we accomplished so much in 4 years. when I got this job, everybody asked me, what's your vision for the county? That's a very unfair question to ask a new person. But after 3 months, it became clear, and the vision we all shared, and that was that we were going to make this a lean, efficient government, and we were going to offer outstanding customer service. That's it. That's all we worked on for 4 years. And I know there are some that would have liked a quicker time period for getting this done, but we got a lot done in 4 years. When you look at our regulatory departments, the focus shifted from issuing notices of violation to helping people get into compliance. How many other governments opened up their regulatory departments to their customers, not for their input, but we put the process in their charge to tell us how we could better operate those departments. But what I'm most proud of is the leadership team that I'm leaving behind. And I inherited a competent leadership team, but I'm leaving the best of the very best. And that took some hard work. It was fitting that Mary Ellen was here in the beginning. Mary Ellen was one of those that I reached out to when I first got the job and went and begged her to take this position and fully expected her to say no. But Mary Ellen said yes, and the next one said yes, and the next one said yes. And we started building some momentum to where I truly believe we have the best team of any local or state government that I've seen. So it's certainly with mixed emotions that I leave this job. There are a whole lot of things that I like about this job, but I'm looking forward to that next chapter in my life. I'm not sure what that is. As you all know, I have a passion for dealing with the homeless population. Perhaps that's what I'll do, but I'll figure it out. And I will never forget the great days that we had here at Maricopa County and the opportunity to work with you. Thank you. I'm sorry, if I could introduce my family, I would appreciate that. And I'm going to start with my brother Scott. He actually goes by the name of Bean, but my brother Scott is the youngest of the Manus clan. Next to Scott is my daughter Amy. Amy is a counselor at St. Francis Grammar School, just up here in Central. My sister Lynn. Lynn has worked in the healthcare field for many, many years here in the Valley. And then next to Lynn is my mom, Ann. And Steve, when we talked about our stellar careers in high school, I'm pretty sure that I was further down in the graduation list than you, because I do remember at one time the good fathers at Brophy called my mom in and suggested that maybe I should pursue a technical education. That's a true story. And then my sister Mary works at Brophy and has been very supportive in all the philanthropic activities that I've embarked on, been a big supporter of everything we do at the homeless campus. And then my beautiful wife, Jean. And Jean has put up with an awful lot in the 30 years of public service. I remember when I went to work for Governor Brewer, the first night I didn't come home until 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. We were so busy I hadn't thought of calling home to let Jean know that I would be delayed. In typical Jean fashion, she had the rosary beads out praying that I would make it home safely. And then, as some of you recall, when Governor Ducey became governor, I volunteered again to go down to the Capitol and work on the budget. And so I would work here during the day and go back to the Capitol at night. And Jean had every right to say, what are you thinking? You already did this once, but Gene has always been so supportive in everything I've done. And so rather than question my sanity, dinner would be waiting for me when I got home at 9 or 10 o'clock. So Gene, thank you for everything you've done for me. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Well, if we can get a picture, and I would invite the family members to come down and take a picture with us all.
Chairman Hickman, members of the board, I think you captured it beautifully when you said, what are we doing? It's family honoring family. And as you take the picture, I'd like to have you hold what's going to honor Tom for the duration of Maricopa County. It's the Tom Mannis Outstanding Service Award. The county's vision is really only two things: providing outstanding customer service and creating a lean and efficient government. That's it. Everything has to fall into these two buckets. Tom Mannis, County Manager, 2012 to 2016. Chairman Hickman, members of the board, this award will be placed on the 10th floor of county administration to recognize Tom and those who dare to try to follow his footsteps in outstanding customer service from this point on. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So just like younger brothers always do to try to impress their older brothers, his younger brother said he's too busy working at Hickman Family Farms to come to this. At least I would hope that's what was said. But I know that in spirit, Jim thinks so highly of his brother, so I hear it quite often. All right, we will now go to, thanks for joining us today. To the planning and zoning area. I'm going to ask Fran if there are any corrections or changes to the P&Z agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As your staff comes forward for this, on item number 1, PZ1, there is just a correction to the numbers, so I believe that you will need to vote this one separately from the other consent items just to recognize this change. The change is to stipulation C and point number 8, which says that the average lot area per dwelling unit, the number should be 16,205 square feet, which is a correction from your agenda. And also, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, in your P&Z section, as you can see on the monitor, the last two items, says 10 and 11 there, but I believe they're 11 and 12. Items number 11 and 12, which are on page 17, the applicants have asked for an indefinite continuance, so we will simply continue these two items until reposted with your consent.
Okay, so let me just ask you a question, Fran, to make PZ1 correctly. The motion, are we continuing that motion then, or what's specifically on PZ1 so we can take that one first?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I believe you can continue to vote and approve PZ1 only with the correction to
Corrections.
letter C.
Okay. Okay,
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that we approve the consent agenda items 1 through 10 with the correction to item 1 specifically as it relates to the density issue as presented by the clerk today. And with that, I don't know that we need a motion, but include the continuance of items
11 and
11 and
12.
12.
okay.
I would
Very
second
good.
that motion, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion and a second. Then, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you. Thanks for being up here, Deborah. Darren, nice to see you. Next up, under statutory hearings, clerk of the board, items 6A through C, special event liquor licenses for National Multiple Sclerosis Society Arizona chapter, Recreation Centers of Sun City Incorporated, and Organization of Rancho Del Monte Irrigation Water Delivery District. Fran, is there anyone to comment on items 6 and 7?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Linda Phillips and Jake Curtis are here on item number 7, and they will speak in favor if you have any questions. Otherwise, they'd just like to note that they are here if necessary to speak, but they are in favor of that item.
Okay, great. Thank you for being here.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Motion to approve.
Second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Still under statutory hearing under transportation. Under 8A, road file declarations. Number A is road file number 5905-R. Under 9 and 10, patent easement abandonments. Road file number, well, let's just go number PAB-0017. Is there anyone to comment on at least items 8 through 9 or 10?
No, Mr. Chairman, and just to make note, I apologize, I did not do this earlier. What you see on the screen, the second patent easement, PAB 0025, if you would include in your motion a continuance on that item to April 20th.
Okay, so road file number PAB-0025 for a continuance to the April 20th meeting.
Mr. Chairman, motion to approve agenda item 8A and agenda item 9 with continuance until April 20th of agenda item 10.
Okay.
I would second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Great, thank you. Under county officers, under elections, number 11, budget adjustment for special elections for propositions 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 4. Under sheriff, items 12 through 14, agreements with the Arizona Department of Homeland Security, Arizona Department of Public Safety, Office of National Drug Control Policy. It looks like we have a speaker slip for item number 12. Thanks for joining us today, Mr. Blue Crowley, on item number 12.
I would have said something on 11, but why touch elections with this week having been like it was? This piece of equipment, a remote control device, and they're saying, hey, we need to upgrade because due to old technology, the thing's, only 2 years old? How often are we needing to use one of the remote control devices for Homeland Security things? I know that anybody that's left a backpack at Central Station, Joe's ready to whip that bad boy out and see if it's got explosives or such in it. That happened, a month ago. So I'm just wondering why the expenditure and why the upgrade. This is the same batch of money that he wanted to use to register everybody's automatic weapon, if you'll recall. So I just worry when he's using those funds and what's he trying to do. You know, he got a tank for what? Homeland Security to be against the citizenry? Have a good one.
Thank you, Blue. Thanks for joining us today. Okay, the board will now consider items 11 through 14.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion to approve with a comment on item number 12.
Okay,
Second the motion, Mr.
we have a
Chairman.
motion and a second. Supervisor Chukri.
Yeah, thank you, and I certainly hear what Blue is saying, but With that being said, I think Pete Weaver's done an excellent job. He's actually the chairman now of the Arizona Homeland Security Board, and I sit on that board as well. And so I can assure you and the folks in the auditorium this morning that those dollars are really scrutinized, and they come with, I don't want to say strings attached, but with an effort to ensure the dollars are being spent the correct way in the most useful way. So while I appreciate his comments, I want to make sure that that is understood as well.
Great. Thank you, Steve. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. County officers, on treasure, items 15, on offer for tax deeded land parcel by City of Mesa. Number 16 is collections and investment summary for February 2016. The board will now consider items 15 and 16.
Move for approval, Mr. Chairman Hickman, items 15 and 16 is published in the agenda.
Great.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Now, under the judicial branch, under justice courts, number 17, appointment of justices of the peace pro tem. Under juvenile probation, number 18, an exemption from markings and issuance of non-government license plates. The board will now consider items 17 and 18.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under county departments, air quality, a number I would like to bring to my colleagues' attention that item number 19 under air quality has been withdrawn by the department. So we will not be voting on that. Under animal care and control, items 20 through 22, donations. Under 23, New Hope agreement with a Hermitage no-kill cat shelter. And number 24, a kennel permit for E. Charles Shabazz. The board will now consider items 20 through 24.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, Mr. Crowley has a slip for item 20 and 23.
Okay, thank you.
About a month ago, I came in here and pointed out that the county is no longer active in the feral spay and neuter program for cats. And I see this, the donation of the spay and neuter. It doesn't say cats or dogs, and I'm hoping that it's, both. But it is minimal, but it is also the responsibility of the county. With one of your predecessors, Betsy Bayless was a proponent of the way it should and could be. And when I see the no-kill shelters, I think that's also excellent. But one of the things you also haven't been doing from the dais, et cetera, is that the county does provide a vaccination program that's free to the public, happens about every week all throughout the county, but there is no advertisement of it because with the summer coming up and with the bat and other wild populations that in our state, unfortunately, are carriers, it's something we need and have to be aware of. So I'd like the county to be more involved monetarily. Let's address the feral populations, because if you spay and neuter a feral population, it increases how? It doesn't. And that's part of the way to make the problem go away. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Blue. That being said, the board will now consider items 20 through 24.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Still under county departments, county administration number 25, resolution for combined charitable campaign. Under enterprise technology, number 26, sale of a surplus vehicle. Under finance, number 27, funds, transfers, and warrants. The board will now consider items 25 through 27.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Still under county departments, human services, number 28, amend the agreement with the Arizona Community Action Association. Under medical examiner, number 29, grant funds from the Paul Coverdell Forensic Science Improvement Grant Program. The board will now consider items 28 and 29.
Move for approval, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under county departments, Parks and Recreation, number 30, new commercial management concessions agreement with the Venture Yogi LLC. Number 31, a land use and construction period license with Central Arizona Water Conservation District. Under procurement services, number 32, air quality project in the Queen Creek area. Number 33, intersection improvement services. And number 34, hosted content management system. Before we consider, I do have a speaker slip for Mr. Blue Crawley
On 31.
on item number 31.
Right, and what I would like to point out is a long time ago when Bolton Brock was sitting here, we put together a thing and called it the String of Pearls. It's all the county parks. This is one of the ways to get to it. It's part of the equation that needs to be considered and continued because, as you know, you can go to all the major county parks, one to the other, on a trail system that this county put together. And it is something that we should be putting out there as one of the gems, because it is. It's a string of pearls with gems between. Thank you.
Thank you, Blue. Thanks for pointing that out to us. Okay, the board will now consider items 30 through 34.
Move for approval, Mr. Chairman.
Second, with a comment that Blue is getting more and more eloquent, Mr. Chairman. As it comes out.
board gate education.
Board gate education. He's calling you Brophy
Right.
boys out. Okay. The board will now consider
We need a
items 30 through 34. Oh, we didn't, no,
We need a vote.
we need a vote. Did we take the motions? You threw me off my game.
Yeah, we had a motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay. And the Peoria High School class of '83 basketball team beat Bourgade Blue. I was there for that. Okay, county departments under public health. Number 35, addition of vehicle to fleet. Number 36, contract with Mayo Clinic, Arizona DBA Mayo Clinic Hospital. Number 37, purchase order to IGA with Arizona Department of Health Services. Number 38 and 39, amend grant agreements with Arizona Early Childhood Development and Health Board, which is the first things first. The board will now consider items 35 through 39.
Motion to approve those items, Mr. Chairman.
Second the motion.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under county departments, real estate, number 40, co-location application with ComNet Wireless LLC. Under transportation, number 41, annexation of right-of-way by the city of Buckeye. 42 and 43 are IGAs for the highway improvements with the cities of Tolleson and Phoenix. Number 44, an easement, right-of-way, and relocation assistance documents. That's number 44. Mr. Crawley would like to talk about items 42 and 43.
I'd like to point out that in one of the positives, the 43, you are doing it to the fuller footprint and putting in the bike lanes, the sidewalks. I don't see where it says crosswalks, as in using paint as a weapon to protect them too. But with Highway 85, I also looked at that as one of the few on Steve's district or in your district that has a bus. Now, it's a rural one, and I want on those improvements, take it that extra step. This isn't in cotton fields, open desert, et cetera. This is within the cities of Tolleson and Phoenix. Where's the bus part of that full equation? Putting it in correctly and the infrastructure be there. Since today, when we have the UV index going at about, I think it said 12 o'clock, it'll be 15 minutes. At the RPTA meeting today, they're going to say how they're doing bus improvements and going to get some down to 30 minutes. That means the person only was getting a burn for what, 15 minutes?
Okay, thank you, Blue. I appreciate it. Okay, did we take, I can't remember now. Did we take a motion yet?
No, we haven't.
The board will now consider items 40 through 44.
So move, Mr. Chairman. Move for approval, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under Board of Supervisors, number 45, reappointments to the ASU Athletic Facilities District. Number 46, reappointment to the Employee Merit System Commission and Law Enforcement Merit System Commission. Under the IDA, number 47, resolution for the issuance of bonds for the benefit of Christian Care Retirement Apartments, Inc. The board will now consider items 45 through 47.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under setting of hearings, clerk of the board, number 48, impact statement for the proposed White Fence Farms 1 Irrigation Water Delivery District. Under planning and development, number 49, planning and zoning hearings. Under transportation, number 50, a patent easement abandonment road file number PAB-0026. Number 51, a road file number A544. The board will now consider items 48 through 51.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second Supervisor Shukri's motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Now we're under the consent agenda. The clerk of the board, items 52 through 57, which include duplicate warrants, minutes, precinct committeemen, tax settlement cases, tax abatements, and other routine administrative actions. Mr. Blue Crawley would like to speak on agenda item number 54.
Which is the precinct committeeman. I didn't speak on the elections part because I thought that I could kind of cover it here. This is a part of what the county does at all times. These are the precincts. These are the voting precincts within the county. It's the different ones that'll be addressed and used during this next election. And it just is abhorrent to me that Steve and I both asked on the prior elections, the preference primary, if they had an answer to any problems. And as you know, they got up here and said, yeah, we got it all fixed. It's going to be the way it is. Well, part of the reason we have precinct committeemen is that's hands-on with the political process. And I see that what they were trying to do with that presidential primary election was make it as much in the mail as possible. Well, part of the reason that the precinct committeemen and that are out there is that the reason you vote on election day is that things happen between point A and point B. If you put that thing in the mail and sent it, it don't help and it don't get done. So I find it a sad thing that the Republican Party has a vendetta against their own and et cetera, saying that we don't need you to be collecting ballots because that'll make the process convoluted. Well, I didn't get to vote at that last one because after 2 hours, I'm old and didn't want to be arrested for indecent exposure. So I'll just leave it at that, that I had to get out of the line. The people that were behind me, I asked them to call me when they did vote, which was 11:30. Have a pleasant. See you in a little bit.
Okay, thank you, Blue. All right. The board will now consider consent items 52 through 57.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second the motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under addendum, A1, a settlement of the Maricopa County versus California Portland Cement Company et al. The board will now consider consent item A1.
Move for approval, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. The board, okay, on the flood control district. We will now recess as the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors and convene as the Flood Control District Board of Directors. Item F1 is a resolution amendment for the El Rio Watercourse Master Plan. Item F2 is the amended IGA for ownership and maintenance responsibilities of I-17 Scatter Wash Basin. F3, an easement, right-of-way, and relocation assistant documents. Mr. Blue Crowley would like to speak on item F2.
As you know, I'm the transit activist trying to get that rail to be done correctly. And with the city of Phoenix going now from 19th Avenue into Metro Center, but not going into the transit center, I have suggested over and over again, instead of going over at Mountain View, they use the scatter wash basin to get through and go directly to the transit center so that the rail and the bus would be together. We spent $17 million building that transit center originally, and I don't want to call how much it cost for the 250 park and ride spaces with coverings, each one costing approximately $10,000 a piece. So when we have a transit center that's cost how many millions, why aren't we being multimodal? That structure, that splash basin going underneath I-17, there next to the canal, is big enough. And I did recall during that last major flood, I did go along that because I had some chemotherapy I had to get done, and the cabbie and we worked it the whole route during the flooding. It never went over halfway up the walls, so putting a suspended structure of the rail going through something we own, and now they're saying you got to take care of it even more. Why don't we make it a part of the transportation system and use all the parts? Thank you.
Thank you, Blue. All right, the board will now consider items F1 through F3.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman?
Second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We will now adjourn as the Flood Control District Board of Directors and convene as the Library District Board of Directors. The board will now consider items L1 and L2 under Library District. L1 is a concession agreement with Sun Lakes Enterprises LLC. Number L2 is grant funds from the American Library Association and FINRA Investor Education Foundation. Once again, the board will now consider items L1 and L2.
Motion to approve.
Second with just a comment.
Okay, go ahead.
Item L2, this is a pretty unique program. Only 50 libraries across the United States are host to this unique exhibit and display, educational display. I think it's quite an honor to Maricopa County Libraries that they're able to be one of the hosting facilities. So just credit to them and their work.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Denny. Okay.
We need a vote.
We need a vote. All in favor, we did take the motions, right?
Yes.
We did? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We'll now adjourn as the Library District Board of Directors and convene as the Housing Authority of Maricopa County. Item H1 is a submission of FY 2016-2017 Public Housing Agency Plan to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Item H2 is public housing write-off in uncollectible tenant accounts receivable. The board will now consider items H1 and H2.
Move for approval, Mr. Chairman.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We will now adjourn as the Housing Authority of Maricopa County and reconvene as the Board of Supervisors. Under item 58, it's public comment period. As she makes her way up here, hey, clerk, has anyone turned in a request to speak under public comment? It looks like.
Those three are different.
I'll go last.
No, take it
These
first.
three are different and
Take it
unique.
first.
They're the first ones.
Blue, go ahead and you're up to the board. I have one. Whoop, I have one for you. So
Right.
please, thanks for joining us today.
Okay, what I was going to bring up is that the RPTA managers meeting is today, and I'll be going over there, and I know you're only one vote on that, but in their financial plan for their budget and such, they say challenges, opportunities, and new beginnings. And then their challenges and opportunities and new beginnings are fares, fuel, superior customer service, and security. Well, as I brought up before, why is it that if you're on the bus, you got to spend $2 extra to use it? That's not customer satisfaction. And with that fare being that way, it's not what it's supposed to be. If you go to the city of Phoenix and say, why are you doing this? You know, and go to RPTA, they say, well, that's to discourage people from buying a ticket on the bus, because supposedly it slows the bus down if everybody's having to pay for it. Do they let people know that? And why are you discouraging me from using the property? Another part that they're still trying to work out is ticket dispensers. Every single one of the light rail stops has a ticket dispenser. Does your Arrowhead Mall, that new beautiful transit center, have a ticket dispenser? No, it does not. Why is that? Because they're stating that, well, if we put them out, it's going to, well, wait a minute. The reason you exist is to take care of that part of the equation. It's the job of government as transportation, not just roads. And when you're doing that to the public, it, one, does not increase customer satisfaction, doesn't increase the ridership. What it is a use and abuse. So what I need is for this board to get it changed, because you are the ones that make the decision. I know you're only one vote, but we need to take that $2 penalty off the bus and make it the same as it would be anywhere. It's just fascinating to me that they say that they don't want to put any of those dispensers within a quarter mile of a vendor. Well, does that mean we're going to take all the ones off of the light rail stops? Because I don't know of any of them that ain't within a quarter mile of a vendor. Thank you.
And Blue, I'm just going to kind of talk out there in the ether. I remember last 2 weeks ago, I was not able to get a speaker slip in time in the public comment period. So just saying, if I would give you the opportunity to speak about a different issue if you choose to today. So next up.
Well, if you give me the moment, I'll just say that that last election, I plan on trying to get in touch with the Justice Department because
Blue, come up to the mic.
I plan on getting in touch with the Justice Department. My franchise was taken away from me. As I said, the county already knows about precincts. So does the Elections Department. When you put, like I said, I stood in line for 2 hours. It was after 9 o'clock when I walked out of the line. The people that were in front of me, Steve and I both asked, what's your plan if there's a problem here? And all the problem was is that they wanted this to be a mail election. And like I said, that's fine and dandy for everybody except for those of us who want to put that ballot in secretly on election day. Because when I mailed it in, is there somebody opening up and finding out who and what I voted? That's just one more of the problems with it. I wish that the lady would have understood that it's nice that she's taken responsibility for it. And you know what you do when you take that kind of responsibility for that kind of a mess up? You resign. You don't run again. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Blue. I know I owed you that time from the last meeting, so.
Appreciate it.
Sure thing. Okay, next up, Diane Barker. Good morning, Diane. Thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thank you, Chairman Hickman, Board of Supervisors, Diane Barker, and my District 5 is not here, but I wish that you'll convey my wishes to him, okay? And I want to thank Mr. Manis for his service. I have had the pleasure of seeing him after hours downtown walking around. You know, one time he's as personable there as here, but I have a suggestion, Tom, is that meet me downtown. I've, over 52 times I got this pin. What do we do Monday? We go downtown Phoenix. It doesn't matter the weather, the holiday. And Tom, bring that boombox. You know. Okay, but you know, Big Sis is going to tell on these Brophy boys. You know, you backslap, but I can fry you a little bit. I was a bus driver for a generation past yours. And, you know, I know about it, that the Brophy boys were rocking the boat, the bus. And it's the priest that disciplines, you know, so we have to thank the priest for, you know, making it so you can still sit in your seat here, okay? And I just want to say in regards to the invocation, I rubber stamp, you know, what they were saying about Congress is set up, you know, serve the people, but it's not happening today. And we individually and collectively and officials and everything must see that our government works at every level and certainly now at the federal Congress. And I'd like to add that it's too bad that our elected officials and my supervisor should take this, and you too, Helen Purcell should be here to hear that What I heard, they certified the election, the Department of Justice is here, Helen Purcell says she's going to answer the questions within 2 weeks, and so will Secretary of State, but let me just finish. I want you to deliver that she should look at this videotape. There's a lot of testimony here in regards to the election, the frustration, and Mr. Barney, is the statistics
Diane.
you brought up are that they show that it should have been 62% turnout based on the
Diane.
enthusiasm and the
Diane,
statistics. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Okay, thank you for joining us.
Mr. Chairman, we can't comment to,
Yes.
during the public comment, and we certainly don't respond to hypotheticals.
Yes.
So, thank you.
Okay. Okay.
Oh,
Thank you.
we
Believe me,
take
we
criticism
respond to
well.
criticism. Okay.
No, thanks.
Look at the facts.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Diane. Mr. John Rusnick, thanks for joining us today.
Good morning. I would like to say something about my property again. I met with Joy Rich in December. She made the sprint to my agreement on that 6,000 square feet piece of property. That property is twice as big as what the ordinance allows. The ordinance says anything over 3,000 feet shall be dustproof according to the city specs. That's all it says. Simple, but they won't pick this up for me. This was in December. I haven't heard from anybody since December. No, yes, we're going to follow the ordinance, we're not going to follow the ordinance. I'm in limbo. Somebody ought to speak to me about that piece of property. What I'd like to say about the election, please work on having more polling places open. We're in trouble. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rusnick. Please hold your applause. Okay, thank you for that. It looks like I'm going through the rest of the comment thing, so I'm just going to read off some names. Sorry for keeping you here, but it looks like we're down to one topic in the public comment period. I could be wrong, though, but I would like to register. It says public comment, and that this is all about the same issue, and these are all people that are in favor. So thank you, Lisa. I'm going to murder names. Goich, I believe. I'm sure hope. Godish, I think. So she's in favor. Mr. Bill Kuykendall, thank you for joining us today, and he wants to register that he is in favor. Ms. Fernie Kuykendall as well, in favor. Stacy Fallick is here and in favor. Cheryl Bushler is here today and is in favor. Mr. Tony Krepich is here today and is in favor. Ms. Sonia Cowan is here today and is in favor. Ms. Kathy Ann Walsh is here today and is speaking in favor. Miss Yvette Hartig is here today with us and in favor. Again, thank you all for being here today. Ms. Tashina Lee is only necessary if is in favor. Okay, so thank you for joining us today. Ms. Ann Bynan is here to be here in favor. Ms. Kelly Markham, I believe that's Ms. Kelly, I'm sorry if I did that wrong, is in favor. Ms. Connie Hughes is here today and in favor. You can chime out if I'm blowing it up here. Ms. Robin Mal is also here today and is in favor. Ms. Nancy Grant is also here and in favor. So in no different order, thank you all for being here. The City of Phoenix thanks you for paying increased parking rates. So thank you for being here and joining us and taking a look at what we do. I would also like to remind, because some of you are here new with us today watching us do our business, but I will remind you in the public comment section, a supervisor or chairman, we cannot respond directly to you in this time frame. So just letting you know that we cannot respond in the affirmative or the negative. So first up is Miss Rochelle, and you can, if you're coming up to the microphone, you can tell me I mispronounced your name. Rochelle Fothery? Not bad for a farmer. Thanks for being here, Rochelle. And the next up, if they want to start making their way up, I will take Pat Jason. So the Pat can take a seat here behind Rochelle.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Supervisors, for letting us speak. I actually didn't think I was coming first from our group, so I really was just going to tell you about the petition that I started when we found out that there was a single neighbor who was trying to shut down the Southwest Conservation Center, the Southwest Wildlife Conservation Center. So I really just wanted to give us local neighbors a voice, and so I started a small petition and hoped that we'd get 1,000 signatures by the end of March. And I just checked, and we have so far 189,653 signatures from all over the world, but over 14,000 of them are from Arizona, so I don't have it broken down just to Maricopa County. The point is that we very much value Southwest Wildlife Conservation Center. Not only the animals, which are wonderful, and the people who take care of them, but the education it provides for the student or for kids and also for us adults. It's been there for 22 years. They're great neighbors. They perform a service not just for Maricopa County, but actually for the state of Arizona and even places outside the state who don't have a place to place animals that don't have a home and can't be returned to the wild. So I just wanted to let you know that there is amazing support for this center. We're still going at about 8 signatures a minute, and this is a month into into having this petition. I never thought it would get so big. But not only do I support it and the people who are here, but a whole world of people is paying attention and wants you to please give them their special use permits so they can keep doing the work they do. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations.
And we have the
for that.
petitions here for you. But
Very good.
should we drop them off here?
Our county clerk will look at those
If you want to put them right on the
one
table.
by one. All right,
Yes.
yeah, one by one.
Yeah,
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
You're already
wanna
falling
just put 'em
behind
right-
at 8 signatures a minute, Fran.
Put 'em-
Okay, thank you again for joining us, Rochelle. Next up, again, like I had said, was Pat Jason. Thank you for being here, Pat, with apparently more signatures. Okay. Hi, Pat.
No, those aren't mine, unfortunately.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chairman and members of the board. My name is Pat Jason. Thank you for permitting me to speak in support of Southwest Wildlife Conservation Center. Do you recall the bobcat that got entangled in the grill of the Mercedes in Scottsdale? When authorities removed it, they knew they could take it to Southwest Wildlife to be rehabilitated and released. Or when the 2 adolescent tigers were confiscated in the West Valley, they were taken temporarily to Southwest Wildlife until a permanent placement could be found. Or when the family of javelinas were hit by cars on Shea Boulevard and the 2 young survivors were taken to Southwest. This is a unique and extraordinary facility for Arizona's wildlife that are orphaned, injured, or displaced. A place where they can be rehabilitated and released, or if that's not possible, have a permanent home. It is the only facility in the Southwest capable of caring for large animals such as bears and mountain lions. The Wildlife Center is also a partner for saving Mexican gray wolves, but does not receive any compensation from the federal or state agencies. Founded 22 years ago in a very remote area of the county northwest of McDowell Mountains, only accessible over dirt roads, the Wildlife Center has maintained excellent relationships with their neighbors who have moved near them over time until 2012. That's when a man moved nearby knowing full well about the Wildlife Center and even having visited it. Now this man complains incessantly about the animal sounds and the dust and is suing to prevent Southwest Wildlife from obtaining their permanent special use permit. This is not unlike someone moving next door to Luke Air Force Base and complaining about the noise of the jets and then suing to stop them. Southwest Wildlife is a nonprofit not open to the public facility. Its financial life source is through donations received from offering tours and educational programs. The temporary use permit has severely restricted these tours, causing revenues to plummet 70%. This revenue decline is simply not sustainable, and Arizona could lose this wonderful place. Without this revenue source, they may have to close, and there is no place else that they can locate 300 animals. I have here a petition with only 150 signatures, but they're passionate signatures supporting Southwest Wildlife, and we are asking your support in hopes that the Maricopa County Planning and Zoning Commission will grant a permanent special use permit without the current restrictions so that Southwest Wildlife can conduct the necessary tours and educational programs from which their main source of donations are existence.
Thank you.
Thank you. I talked as fast as I could.
Very good.
Thank you.
I don't want you to drop over with a lack of breath.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Next up will be Linda Searles. Okay. Hi, Linda. Please. Thanks for your refraining after the fact. Clap with one hand here. Okay. Linda, thank you for being here today.
Hi. Chairman Hickman and board, thank you very much for having me today and for having received the petitions. Southwest Wildlife is a nonprofit 501c3 that relies on donations, and we take in injured and orphaned wildlife. We're also a sanctuary and last chance for some animals. We're also a sanctuary for people too, because we have a lot of volunteers that come, and it's a very special place for them. And all the neighborhood supports us and loves us. We just have an issue with one individual who has moved next to us. We have been there for 22 years and lived in harmony with our neighbors. And along with all of our neighbors and the people that signed the petition, we thank you. We ask you for your support with the SUP so we can continue to support the community. We can be there for the fire department, the police department, the Maricopa County Animal Control, Humane Society. We can be there to support the Game and Fish and Wildlife and be there at 2 o'clock in the morning when they call us for an injured wildlife. And be there for the Hope kids that come and spend the day with us, children with life-threatening diseases, and inner city kids that come and spend a special day around the animals and learn about the animals. And so I'm asking you for your support when you review the SUP, and want a special thanks to Steve Chukri for his support and his rainy visit at Southwest Wildlife. But thank you very much.
Okay, thank you for joining us today, Linda. All right, and last up, this is the last speaker comment slip I have, Fran?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sonny Parker, if you could please come up.
Hello and thank you, Chairman and board members. Pretty much everything that's been said were the things that I was going to say. So I'm just going to add on just a little bit more. Southwest Wildlife Conservation Center is an amazing place where things get healed, not only animals but people. I'm going to add on things that were not said. One of the complaints is their dirt road. Most of us that live in that area are equestrians. We ride horses. We need our dirt roads. We don't have anywhere else to go. Mesa, Gilbert, which used to be places where we could roam freely, they're no longer there for us. So this is our little area. So the dirt roads are there. I will say that this gentleman in question purchased this property, and after being there for quite a while, he decided to buy 3 more properties adjacent to the area. So then I can say that he knew what he was moving into. I will also say for anybody that is here or anybody who lives out in those areas, you don't have to have a Southwest Wildlife Conservation Center to hear the noise and the beauty of the coyotes. They awake us at 3 a.m. every morning with their lovely songs. We live there. That's what we're there for. That's why we chose to move there. I would just like to also say that we have over 189,000 signatures at this point, and I think by the end of the day we'll have over 200,000. This place not only saves animals, it saves people, really it does. What Linda does there is amazing. It doesn't cost this county anything. The work that she's doing to help save the endangered Mexican gray wolf is of utmost importance to this community, to our country. And the fact that we have people all over the world, as far as Albania, Italy, Russia, places we never thought would come to our defense on this, it's amazing. And I ask you to reconsider this special use permit. It is there for a reason. It is a reason why Linda has done this so successfully for so many years, living basically in a community that everybody embraces, except for this one gentleman. Please, please consider our plight and let us have our permit. Thank you.
Hey, thank you for being here today.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question, not of our public speakers, but.
Yeah, go ahead.
Madam Clerk, do we know, I know this is going through the planning process. We haven't, it's not been published for a board agenda yet. Has it been to the Planning and Zoning Commission yet at this point? Could we ask planning staff?
I'm looking at Darren, and he
Okay.
says it hasn't been
But
to
it's going through
May
the
5th.
process is established, and so we would anticipate that we would see it.
May
May 5th, wonderful.
June 8th for us.
I know Supervisor Chukri has been working on it, but the rest of us, haven't been briefed on it yet, only because it hasn't come to the agenda. So we're looking forward to hearing more about it, and thank all of those that have come and shown great interest, and will continue to follow Supervisor Chukri on this as it's located in his district to make sure that we're fully aware of what's going on. So thank you.
And our lawyer is looking at me. He was talking to me. Okay, so, very good.
No response to our dear friends that have spent the whole meeting. I think when, if I might, Mr. Chairman, when Mr. Manis talked about telling his wife Jean, not wanting to talk about what he did at work, this might have been it. Because sitting through a meeting after meeting after meeting. So we thank you for being here with us today and recognize that while it may appear mundane, this is important work of the people, and we're glad you could be with us.
Very good. Okay. With that, it brings us to item number 59, the supervisor's summary of current events. I think I'll start to my left here, Supervisor Chukri.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I want to speak about the Southwest Wildlife Conservation Center, if I might, in that as part of my remarks today. If you follow through with what we've done the past 3+ years, we've talked about how do we bring a business mindset to Maricopa County? How do we make us what I like to call the Zappos or the Amazon of government? And with that comes principle, with that comes consistency. And so when you saw some of the planning and zoning issues that have been brought before us, in particular my district, my common theme has been that my private property rights do not trump yours, nor do yours trump mine. So while I was pleased to hear how many signatures, in fact, I think some of these folks should get into the signature gathering business because they're doing an exceptional job. But that being said, let's erase all that for one quick moment. And let's look at the facts. And the facts are that what Linda has done with her team, with this community, is utterly amazing. I was there. She was talking about the rain. For those of you who aren't aware of what happened, the day I happened to visit it was actually just pouring buckets out there. I was fortunate to have a 4-wheel drive, to be quite honest. So it does not bode well to be in a suit out and touring the Southwest Wildlife Conservation Center, for those of you who are thinking about it, nor wearing dress shoes. So I was not about to tell Linda,
Yes.
Why don't we reschedule? Because I knew what her response would be. And so what I was greeted with, Mr. Chairman, was a new facility they're building that was under construction. It was at the drywall stage. That's going to be a hospital for animals. It's a huge expansion from what they currently have. And most importantly, what I saw in Sam Coppersmith and Jason Rose and Linda and her team that were all there that morning was passion. It wasn't passion only about animals. It wasn't passion about what they did. It was passion to do the right thing. And this is doing the right thing. She's using her family home. She's using all of her personal resources. She gets no federal funding. She gets no state funding, yet the federal government and the state government are the first to drop their problems at her door. And what does she do? She smiles and takes them in without question, without bemoaning. She does it because she has that passion. The people here have that passion. The hundreds of thousands of signatures have that passion. So I'm pleased to be a part of it. I will see it through to the best of my ability through the May 5th process, and of course, when it comes here on June 8th, I don't anticipate any problems. I am a little disappointed in one thing, and that is it's taken some time to get us here. But that's unfortunately a process, and that's where maybe we need to get better as the business community can and the businesses can to be more nimble. But I'm happy to support it. It will pass. It will go through. And I thank Linda, I thank all the people here today for their patience for what was somewhat of a lengthy meeting, but I think that only is an attribute for the cause that they so dearly love. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll yield back, and I thank you for the opportunity.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Steve. Denny.
No additional comments today, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Is that the one-handed
That's
clap?
still the one-handed clap.
That's impressive.
Very nice.
I wondered how that would execute. Thank you for, no additional comments today, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, very good. I'll make a comment, and then Tom gets to finish out this time. So we've had a difficult last couple of weeks, and what I've noticed about this county is what's great about it is we identify problems and we start fixing them, and believe me, we are fixing them. Today was part of that process. So thanks for everybody having the backbone and the will to put their shoulder to the grindstone and keep working on the issues that affect the county. So I appreciate it very much because we've got a lot of people working for us and depending upon this board to do the right thing. And we're going to continue on with that tactic. Tom.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the last 5 years, Supervisor Chukri and I have hosted a barbecue at the homeless campus, and we did it this last Good Friday. We had record crowds because it was near the end of the month, and near the end of the month, a lot of those clients have exhausted their benefits. But there were 3 or 4 women that were singing, clients that were singing at the barbecue that their beauty just struck me. And so I have a 1-minute video of what happened at that barbecue. I think we served about 1,000 meals on Good Friday. So with your indulgence, we'll play the video.
Please, let's show the video. Now that you can clap for. Okay, go ahead. Very nice.
Chairman, really quickly, just one more
Sure.
second if I can.
Steve.
That if you noticed, the lady in the middle, her tambourine was a Pringle can with crushed Pringles. Those ladies were all homeless, and you had other homeless folks coming up, joining in singing. So I think, Tom, I've been able to bring my 11-year-old son for the past 5 years. My wife asked me if I'm going to bring our 6-year-old son this year, and I said, no, I don't think we're quite ready. And she said, oh, he's not ready to go. It's too much of a sad place. And I said, no, they're not ready for him to get there. So we look forward to hopefully bringing my younger son next year. And thank you, Tom.
Awesome. I did notice a picture of a certain supervisor's son there. So applaud him for his willingness to help out that community, because we certainly do. Okay. With that, we will adjourn, and I wanted to remind my colleagues, I'm gonna take, is it 15 minutes okay, break between, we are going to go into an executive session. I know that Supervisor Chukri has to go outside and meet a couple constituents real quickly, so I'll give you a whopping 15 minutes for that, and then we will meet up at 10th floor to go into executive session. Thanks for everyone being here today, and a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. We adjourn. Thank you.